Today I'm going to tell you about ferrets. A ferret is a small furry animal with a cone-shaped nose, long tail, and a long pear-shaped body with short legs and long claws. An endangered species of ferret previously thought to be extinct, the black-footed ferret was rediscovered in America. A black-footed ferret is solitary except when breeding or raising litters. It is nocturnal and primarily hunts for sleeping prairie dogs in their burrows. It is most active above ground from dusk to midnight and 4 a.m. to mid-morning. Female black-footed ferrets have smaller home ranges than males. Home ranges of males may sometimes include home ranges of several females. Adult females usually occupy the same territory every year, making up more than 90% of black-footed ferrets' diet are prairie dogs. A black-footed ferret can eat more than 100 prairie dogs in 1 year. Black-footed ferrets are also known to eat ground squirrels, small rodents, and rabbits and birds. Black-footed ferrets take their cue from the sun to begin the breeding season. The breeding season for the black-footed ferret is January and early June. The peaks between March and April. A female black-footed ferret gestation lasts from 42 to 45 days, accumulating in a litter of 1 to 7 kits. The average is 3 to 4. Kits are born blind and hairless. They endure its helpless state, safely sequestered in prairie dog burrow. Until about 2 months old, they are allowed to go above ground. The black-footed ferret is only ferret native to North America. The domestic ferret is different species of European origin. Males measure 19.7 to 21.0 inches in body length and 4.5 to 5.0 inches in tail length, thus continuing 22 through 25% of its body length. Females typically smaller than males. It weighs 1.43 to 3.09 pounds. Ferrets can be great pet to own, but there are things to consider before adopting a ferret. Ferrets are social animals. They will not be happy if they don't have time to play with a human companion. A ferret is by no means a hands-off pet. You make sure you have delicate, adequate time to play with your ferret. Ferrets do sleep a lot. They tend to sleep about 18 hours a day. However, during times when they are awake, they're very active. They need a lot of stimulation. Ferrets require training. Litter training is important for a ferret, as you don't want a ferret having accidents around the home. Also, ferrets must be taught proper behavior. You will need to dedicate time to training your ferret not to bite and scratch. Ferrets are intelligent, highly trainable. However, like any animal, training takes time and persistence. You will have to train your ferret over the course of several weeks and always punish negative behaviors like biting and be consuming, so you should not adopt a ferret if you don't feel like you have time to train it. Ferrets have a litter box that must be changed daily, like a cat's litter box. You will also need to periodically clean their cage. Avoid a ferret if you have young children. Ferrets do not do well with young children. Ferrets will bite if handled roughly. If your children are not old enough to know how to gently handle an animal, a ferret is not the pet for you. Ferrets can get along well with older children. However, if your kids know how to safely handle an animal and have been gentle with animals in the past, a ferret could be a great addition to your home. Think about how busy your home is. There's a lot of coming and going in your home. There are two major concerns. First, ferrets are underfoot a lot. If there are frequently a lot of people coming around, a ferret could easily get stepped on. Second, ferrets have a tendency to escape if doors are often open and closing. There is a safety risk for your ferret. Ferrets tend to do best in quieter homes where there is not a lot of commotion. Doors and windows needed to be closed safely. Keep a ferret. If you like natural airflow from open doors and windows, you will not do well with a ferret. Consider your other pets. Ferrets generally do best in the home without other pets. Cats and dogs are often aggressive with ferrets. Ferrets will prey on smaller animals like mice and rats. If you already have pets, a ferret may not be your best option. Some people do keep ferrets with smaller dogs and cats. If you decide to get a ferret despite having a dog or cat, only allow supervised interaction. During play, a dog or cat could accidentally harm a ferret. Decide whether you can tolerate the smell. Ferrets could come with a strong odor. The sweat glands of a ferret uses to mark territory, secrete oil, leaving a must scent in your home. If you live in a smaller home or an apartment, a ferret smell can become very noticeable. The smell of a ferret is something like a scent of a skunk. Make sure you can legally keep a ferret in your home. Just because the pet store sells them doesn't mean that they're legal in your area. In some countries and states, owning a ferret is outright illegal. There are also sometimes illegal to own in certain cities and areas, and you may need to license your own ferret. Some places check with a local humane society or Department of Wildlife regulation in your area. Also think about legally housing a ferret. If you're renting, ferrets may not be allowed in your building. Even if they're allowed in your area, check your landlord for adopting a ferret. Learn about adoption fees. Ferrets are not cheap. The cost of an adoption is very depending on the humane society or pet store you're working with. Ranges from $75 to $250. In general, if you're adopting a ferret from a shelter, you can expect the cost to be lower. Make sure you can afford vaccines. Like all animals, ferrets keep basic vaccinations to prevent diseases like rabies. Check with vets and in your area to see what the average fee for a vaccination are. Also, like any pet, ferrets will need an annual vet visit to stay healthy. Make sure you can find a vet in your area that takes ferrets. Not all vets are familiar with treating ferrets. Consider the cost for sterilization. If your ferret is not already sprayed or neutered, it is important that the procedure is done. Unless you're specifically buying a ferret to breed, you do not want it to end up with unwanted baby. Sterilization is especially important if you have two ferrets of different genders. Will vary from vet to vet. Sterilization generally costs between $200 and $300. There also may be other fees for any medication your ferret needs after surgery. Weigh in your general cost of care between the cage, accessories, food, treats, toys, litter, and other items. Your ferret costs a large amount of money up front. Make a list of all things you need to buy and add up total cost. This will give you a sense of whether you can truly afford a ferret. In the present moment, you should also have some extra money in case of unexpected circumstances. A ferret could, for example, contract a cold from a pet store or a shelter. You will need extra money for vet bills. Follow my YouTube channel at Satan's Paradise. Thanks for watching this episode of Adventurous Kids.